Hello, everybody. Wolfang here. It's Monday, October the 23rd. If anybody watched my short I did today, I said October the 26th, I think. I guess I'm trying to get the week over with. I don't know. But I'm going to talk about making tea with pine needles. And you can't use just any pine needles. I did. I was in somebody's chat last night, and it was brought up. And I've also seen other people talk about it a while ago. I haven't seen any recent stuff on making pine needle tea, but I did find this site, and I thought it's got some good information. Now, your pine needle tea has from what I read, has a lot more vitamin C in it than an orange. It also has vitamin A. So this might be a lengthy read. So let's get this started. Say white pine needle tea recipe and 5 more white pine remedies. And I looked it up, and we do have white pine here in Ohio. So see, it says ready for a free cup of vitamin C. When we think of herbal remedies, we don't often think of the trees right outside our door. There is one tree that grows almost everywhere in North America and provides easy to use medicine all year long, the mighty white pine. Learn about 6 white pine remedies for your home, including one of our family favorites, delicious pine needle tea, aka free cup of vitamin C. So it talks about the white pine. The needles of the white pine, a tree right outside in our parks and neighborhoods, are completely edible, and its health benefits have been prized for thousands of years. A stately evergreen and the tallest tree in the Northeast, white pine, can reach at least 180 feet in height. They commonly reach 200 years in age, but can grow to be well over 450 years old. The person that wrote this says, "I love the idea of these trees we drive or walk by every day. Might have watched generations come and go." So this is what your white pine tree looks like. It says white pine needles as nourishing as medicine, specifically here in North America. Native people such as the Ojibwa, if I said that right, and the Chippewa revered this mighty tree and honored her through the many ways they used her medicine. See, now they called the tree a her. The eastern white pine, like so many evergreens, provided important food and medicine in the wintertime when many other plants and foods are not available. They would use the inner bark, the twigs, the needles, the pollen, as well as the pine pitch or resin. Now, in the modern age, as convenience culture has crept into our homes, we've been taught to look to the local pharmacy for an answer in a plastic bottle when we have a cold or a flu, rather than to our neighborhood trees. Perhaps it can be both. The connection to the bountiful medicine of the trees can bring such a comfort and magic to our kitchen and our lives. Imagine a steaming pot of white pine twigs and needles on the kitchen. The scent of fragrant pine wafting through into the air. You sip the tea with a little honey and perhaps breathe in as you lean over the pot to allow the steam to be pulled into the lungs. No plastic bottle needed. That steeped tea can then be poured into the bath to allow further connection to this medicine. Perhaps the cells in our bodies rejoice when we awaken this connection to the trees. So let's go on. This is what your white pine, the bark looks like. And we do have these trees here in Cincinnati. Identifying the white pine. Half the fun of making pine needle tea is venturing outdoors to find some pine needles. One of my favorite places, not mine, this is the person that wrote it. One of my favorite places to find white pine trees are at the local parks. Over the years, I've made note of where the mighty white pine trees are located. One of the many benefits of using wild foods such as white pine is the connection it brings to our local natural spaces. Being outside with the trees becomes part of our lifestyle, which is a benefit to our physical and emotional health. This connection is part of the medicine. When we're connected to our wild spaces, we honor and protect them because they take on a deeper value for us. So that goes on to needle size. It says her needles are thin and long, approximately 3 to 5 inches. The shape of the needle, the white pine grows in clusters of 5 needles each. I'm not even going to try and say that word. To identify the 5 letters in the word white and 5 needles per bundle. They start from the base with a whitish appearance that increases into a green to bluish green hue at the tip. The bark texture of the trunk gets smoother as you go up the tree. Branch bark is fairly smooth. Branches, white pines can grow very tall and they grow quickly. The branches are long and sweeping, unlike some other species, I guess. I don't know. You guys can read this. Pine cones. They grow pine cones that can be quite large, 4 to 7 inches long, and are often covered in resin. And that resin, pine resin, you can use to burn. Okay, there's a warning on this one. It's very important that you harvest from the correct tree. Pine trees from the Pinicidia family. Boy, I hope I said that one right. Should not be confused with the yew or cypress conifers, which are toxic, as are ponderosa pines and Norfolk pines, which are not technically pines. I recommend having a regional plant guide to cross reference anything you read online, including this article. When you first getting to know a tree or wild food or medicine, you really want to triple check with multiple references. Now, here's how you can identify the white pine. That's, like the person said, it's in 5. The medicine of white pine needles. White pine needles can be collected any time of the year, which is another beautiful benefit of this iconic tree. She offers medicine all seasons of the year. The parts of the mighty white pine with a history of use for medicine include the needles, resin or pitch, inner bark, twigs, and pollen. For the purposes of this article, we will focus just on the needles. When you pluck a needle, you will notice the strong aromatic scent that is indicative to pine as you bring it to your nose. That strong, uplifting scent tells us the needles are full of essential oils, which tells us this plant's immune system is strong. Those essential oils are part of the white pine's immune system, which, when we take this medicine into our own bodies, gets shared with us. expert. I'm not even going to try and say that one, but the needles help to expel mucus, break up the mucus in your lungs. If you have a bad cough, it's good for that. The circulatory stimulant. The needles also support the circulatory system, and particular with the blood vessels. A mild diuretic. The needles stimulate the kidneys, moving toxins out through your urine or sweat. White pine needles help to remove waste and stagnation in the body, congestion. The needles support the respiratory tract and bronchial system, aiding with breathing, coughing, and chest congestion. Antiseptic. White pine has an antiseptic qualities to help the body fight infections. Vitamin C. Pine needle tea and concoctions offer a high content of vitamin C, a powerful antioxidant, and stimulates the immune system. Vitamin A. Pine needles also contain vitamin A, which help with the eyes, skin, and hair. Mental health. This medicine has even been known to help with grief support, taken internally or used as an external aroma. Pine needles also contain AFN, which may help with mood stabilization. And then there's a note, don't use this or other herb products without first consulting your health practitioner. Pine needles can cause kidney irritation with long-term use or in strong doses or with sensitive individuals. And for me, I'm not a doctor. I'm just sharing this information. Harvesting white pine needles. It's easy. Gather a small bag of pine needles from young white pines. It's easy to pluck off the clusters of needles, but you could use scissors or shears and snip them off. Double check the needles are 3 to 5 inches long and grow in bundles of 5. That sounds like it's very important to make sure you know that. As mentioned, you can harvest any time of the year. Basically, if the needles are richly green, they are okay to harvest. If you can harvest away from a roadway, that will ensure there's minimal car exhaust fumes interacting with the needles. However, foraging along a neighborhood street is much better than not foraging any at all, in this person's opinion. Harvest only what you need or intend to use. This is a great rule of thumb for wild foraging in general. You don't want to overstress the tree. In fact, if you can find a newly fallen branch with the pine needles, that would be great. If not, use sharp, clean shears to cut the needles off a few small branches. When gathering the needles, don't take them all from one branch. Try to balance your harvest across multiple branches and trees so that you're not leaving one particular bare or spot bare. Harvesting a few handfuls of needles won't harm the trees as long as they are healthy and established. Yeah, we definitely have these pine trees here. White pine needle tea. Simply tea of needles steeped in hot water is helpful to promote expert and removal of thinning of mucus from the lungs. This remedy is suitable for both wet and dry coughs, but when there's dryness, I like to combine it with moisturizing herbs like marshmallow root and calodilin, I guess, used for coughs, cold, bronchitis, laryngitis, and croup. And I am into the herbal stuff. I just need to learn the plants. Oh, so you can take a bath in this stuff too. You can add snipped up white pine needles to your bath, helping you soak her medicine in through your skin and bloodstream and also through your bronchial system. Add about 2 cups to your bath. Use a strainer cup for your drain. You can also make a tea of needles and then pour this into the bath. Final option is to mix equal amounts of Epsom salts with pine needles in a jar and leave for a few days before using. It will store long term. There's a night I didn't know that. So you can take the pine needles and put them in with Epsom salt. Okay. Face steam. You can use white pine needles in a face steam to support the bronchial and immune system and break up mucus. Bring your water up to a simmer and add your needles. Place the lid on the pot and let simmer for 5 to 10 minutes. Hold your face over the steam once the lid is taken off, making sure to be mindful not to burn your face. I like to use a towel draped over my head and the steaming pot. Breathe in deeply 5 to 10 minutes to receive the medicine deep into your lungs. Infused vinegar. You can make a white pine infused vinegar, which is one of my favorite ways to bring this medicine into my life. Fill any size jar loosely with the white pine needles that you just chopped. Pour over your apple cider vinegar and place your lid on the jar, making sure the vinegar completely covers the needles. I use a piece of parchment paper to place between the lid and the jar, which protects the lid from corroding. Allow the needles to steep in the vinegar for 4 weeks and then strain. I will use this vinegar to cook with or to pour into a hot bath. Huh, okay. Infused honey. You can make a white pine infused honey by cutting up your needles into small pieces and simply pouring over honey and allow to infuse 4 to 6 weeks. Optional, strain the honey or use it with the needles still inside the honey. What you have left is a white pine honey. Imagine that. Pine needle tea recipe. And after I read this, I'll stop because I don't want to bore anybody. White pine needle tea is not only boosts your immune system, but also has a lovely, light, piney, somewhat citrus flavor. You simply need 2 ingredients: 2 cups or 16 ounces of water and 1/3 cup of fresh pine needles. Remove any brown ends of the pine needles. Then chop and bruise a good handful of young green pine needles into 1/2 inch pieces. Chop and bruise. So I'm guessing maybe smash it up, smash them a little bit, break it up, let the oils out better. See harvesting notes above. Chopping releases the medicine compounds. Bring water to a boil in a glass, ceramic, or stainless teapot. Add chopped needles to a cup or mug and pour in 2 cups of boiling water. Cover the cup with a lid or a plate and steep 10 to 15 minutes. You'll see a change in the color and the needles will sink to the bottom. As an optional step, you can strain the needles. I often just add the needles to my teapot and then use a strainer. Some folks add a teaspoon or 2 of lemon or honey. I think I'd like it with honey because sometimes I'll put honey in my coffee when I drink coffee on the weekends. All these herbal remedies is just a sampling ways to use the pine needles in your home. When we are able to forage a medicine, we not only connect to the tree and our area, we also save money. And when we purchase a remedy from the store, we are paying for more than just the remedy, but also the packaging and the costs associated with selling a product. This wild medicine is free and only costs you time. what better way to use your time than to be outside with trees, with the sun on your skin and the wind in your hair? Okay, folks, that's the read on that, and that is what your white pine needles look like. So, wow, this video has been going 20 minutes. But anyway, I wanted to share this because, like I said, I've seen past videos, not like recent, but a while back about pine needle tea, and you can look into this, and it's just not the white pine needle that you can use. The way I was trying to find, because like in the article said, you have to watch what pine needles you use because some of them are poison, they're toxic. But look it up, and if anybody has actually tried this, leave a comment. Let me know what you think, or just leave a comment and say this article was too long, Wolfgang. I can't handle 20 minutes. Anyway, this is Wolfgang. Have a great Monday evening. Blessed be. Stay safe, and I'll chat with you all later. Bye.